property, which refers to the creation of the mind, like your own idea or inventions or designs that are protected by law. So when you create something from your own ideas, you are being protected. We call it intellectual property. Owners have exclusive right to use, sell, and then license these creations. So whenever you do something that is original, like my YouTube channel and others, it should protect that is my own ideas, right? So the software, the music and books and other things, the trademarks, we call it the intellectual property. Then the copyright, which is a type of intellectual property which gives the creators an exclusive right to reproduce, distribute, or perform or display their work. So this right gives those who created that thing or that idea to be able to sell or display or redo them. So they protect them from people from redistributing their work. And then Creative Commons, which is a license system and allows the creator to share work legally without or with certain conditions. Like for instance, when I have my book and then I share it, then I say, okay, when you are using it, do not make more copies or this or that. Those are the Creative Commons license that people must respect also. And then responsible behavior online, you need to know that um, you must respect people, use appropriate languages, avoid harm content, and stop cyberbullying and the cyber stalking. Digital footprint, those are the things where all your online activities, what you leave, the traces that can affect your image. We call it digital footprint. Then the POPI Act, Protection of Personal Information Act, which is a South African law ensuring safe and lawful handling of personal data. So when people use your data without giving you acknowledgement, that is against the POPI Act, like taking people's picture and others. Cybercrime and penalties. If you commit cyber crimes, there are so many cyber crimes we are going to discuss. What are some of the penalties that you can be involved? Offenses like identity theft and phishing, you can have a lot of consequences. Acceptable user policies, those that guide the school what they must learners must do and what they cannot do. Like for instance, you are not supposed to maybe use memory stick or copy people's work without acknowledging them. All those policies called AUP. Then ergonomics is also part of this, which is designing workplace or equipment for comfort and efficiency. You must know the definition and ergonomic practices like correct postures, monitor height, rest breaks, to prevent injury like taking breaks and others. Repetitive strain injury, which is also common health issues from prolonged use of computers. And then green computing and e-waste. Environmentally friendly use of computers is green computing. And e-waste is when you discard electronic gadgets at a landfill called e-waste. You must know the definitions. Then power and then energy saving mode. If you are saving power, sleep mode, hibernate or automatic shutdown, energy saving, changing the brightness, using CPU or maybe using SSD instead of HDD. Those are energy saving things, turning off and other things that you need to do. Right. Then we go straight to the malwares and authentications. When you're authenticating, meaning that you are verifying the identity of the system before you grant access by using the password, the PIN, biometric access, and others. Now, authorization determines what resources that you can also use. For instance, admin versus the standard user's right. Now, if you're an admin, you can go through the server and others. But then if you are just an ordinary user, you don't have permission to go through certain servers. Right, then the malware, which is malicious software designed to disrupt, damage and gain unauthorized access to a computer system. You must know the definition and different types of malware, like virus. They disrupt the normal function, they replicate and spread. You can say they disrupt. And then the worms are always replicating themselves. Trojan, they disguise themselves as a legitimate software. Spyware, a malware. All of them, if the question asks you to define it, start by saying it's a malware, because normally they give 1 mark for that. So a Trojan is a malware that disguised as a legitimate software. Spyware is a malware that monitor user activities. Ransomware is a malware that lock your file demanding payment before they release it. You need to know them also. And then antivirus software, what does it do? And then firewalls is a hardware or software that blocks or incoming traffic. You need to know them. Right. Then there are other various malware that you must also know, or cyber attack. We will talk about them. Data protection. How do you safeguard your data from corruption or unauthorized access? Example is encryption, strong password access right, antivirus protection. You can also have backup. You can back up your work. Now, backup is duplicating or creating files by using these external devices. Benefits of backup, you must know them also, and backup strategies. You must always offsite backup, or you must regularly backup also, and backup at a time that you are not busy. Those are the backup strategies. Now, physical security measures. Lock to prevent the hardware theft, like to lock your devices. By using cable locks. So here you can use cable locks. Cable lock devices, or you tie them. CCTV cameras, restrict access alarm systems also, and then biometric access. So restrict access, maybe using biometric. And then you can also use those burglars and others. You can chain them. There are so many ways of preventing that. Then the cyber security and social engineering. Now, social engineering, that is the manipulating people into revealing sensitive information. Those are the definitions, the keywords you must know. Examples of social engineering: phishing, farming, vishing, farming, baiting, pretexting. You must know them. Fraudulent emails. When you use email, clickjacking, spoofing. There are so many of them that they can ask you to define one of them. Right. So there are a lot of them that you have to know. Now, it could be emails, SMS, calls. So the fake email is called phishing, to deceive someone. Fake SMS is smishing. Fake video calls or voice calls called phishing. And then farming is link, fake link. So here you must know them. So fraudulent emails, let me just put them, call it phishing. We have fraudulent SMS, which is smishing. Fake emails or fake SMS. All of them, they use it to deceive people into getting sensitive information. Fake calls, we call it phishing. That voice calls. When they call you to deceive you. So fake voice calls to steal sensitive information. This is called phishing. And then we also have pharming. So the pharming is fake link or website to deceive people. And then we also have clickjacking. Clickjacking is concealed link, or you can say hidden link to deceive people into getting sensitive information. Then we also have baiting out of curiosity, pretexting also. So all these are part of the social engineering. You see so many questions that is talking about that. Spoofing. As for spoofing, they falsify the email header. So the spoofing is email header. Fake email header. So the difference between spoofing and then phishing is that phishing is the fraudulent email messages. Here we are talking about the message. And then here they change the header. They change it. Maybe instead of SirAntwi, then maybe it will be SirAntwi. Then you'll be thinking that you're getting it from SirAntwi, asking you to bring money or something from that email. Then they fake the email header or the sender address and others to deceive you. We call it spoofing. Hoax is a fake news. Fake news, misleading, falsifying information, hoax, and others. How do you prevent all this? You must verify the source, avoid unknown links, and use preventive or encryption or strong password also. Now, technology and society, like the digital divide, we talk about that. Impact of technology on employment, like reduced job loss and others, cyberbullying and cyber stalking, and then digital citizenship, being responsible for all these. Then guidelines for ethical use of computers also. Then there's one other thing that we have to also talk about that. That's the different cyber attacks. Cyber attacks like the following. Bot, bot and botnet and zombie. Now they normally ask this one. The bot is automated, or you can say repetitive. It's a type of cyber attack that causes automated tasks, rendering account or computer inaccessible. So these bots, they are automated, they cause automated, and then they have botnet. Botnet is a group of bots. Hence, we call the bot network. So the botnet is group of bots that causes those automated tasks, which render it inaccessible. And then we also have, through this, then they give zombie, a compromised computer. Are controlled remotely. They are compromised. They are being controlled remotely. We call that computer zombie. So when it has bots and these things, then it will be controlled remotely. And then aside this, we also have, so we have the bot, we have the botnet, we have the zombie, And then we also have what we call DDoS, or we have DOS attack, which is distributed denial of service, or it could be denial of service. So the DOS is denial of service, and the DDoS is distributed denial of service. So here is where when the computers are having these bots and botnet, they make so whereby the account is rendered inaccessible. So meaning you cannot get access to it. When they have all this one, they call it distributed denial of service. And from here, then they now demand what's called a ransomware. Ransomware, then they demand ransomware, whereby they demand money. So they lock the account and then they will now demand money. So you must know these comparisons, the bot, the botnet, the zombie, the DOS attacks, and then also ransomware. Right, so that is all about social implications. And then if we check some questions under social implications, we have the phishing attack, we have the internet banks. Here they are talking about farming definition. Adware, software that download and bombard your computer with an advert is called adware, advertising software. Now, the computer theft include the use of bots in does explain them. So the bot, which is the robot, is a compromised computer. So here you can just say that can be controlled remotely. So they do automated tasks. Then they can cause a zombie for you. Then what is the computer virus? A program written or a malware to disrupt the normal function of the computer. How does a computer worm works? They distribute, they replicate themselves without a person running infected program. Why are public computers risk due to spyware and keylogger? Spyware, they monitor and track your computers secretly. But then the keylogger, they record keystrokes. So you must know they use the keylogger to do what we call the spyware. Right. And then Trojan. What is Trojan? They disguise themselves. Why is it difficult to fight computer crimes? Most crimes happen virtual where that means you don't see them, and difficult to trace them also. Spam, which is the unsolicited emails. Identity theft involves collecting data to pretend to be someone else, like creating a fake Facebook account using another person's details. Card schema, they can ask you this question. Card schema, which is a device that reads and stores data on a magnetic stripe card. Like, for instance, your bank card, when you go there and then you slot in your bank card, you must always check. They can put a card schema that will record or take your magnetic stripe of your bank card, and then they will go and duplicate one. That is the card schema. Why is it important to password protect wireless network? To prevent unauthorized access. Also, other than measures to prevent malware infection, how do you prevent malware infections? You need to install and update antivirus to see new viruses. Avoid giving out personal information, and then don't click unknown links also. Scam. Phishing. Password also. It should be 8 characters long, mixture of upper and lower case. And then it must include numbers also. Now, features to reduce online harassment. You must block the user on the social media, report them, change your privacy settings on social media, restrict access, and ignore different buttons. You don't click on them. One negative effect of pirated software: legal consequences, malware or virus infections also. Now, two indications of a phishing email. So a phishing email might contain suspicious link or poor grammar or spelling. You must check some of these things for phishing email and others, or phishing. You must check the sender's address, the grammar, and then also the links. Check the definitions also, whatever that they write. Why email reject.exe? It could be security reasons. Exe could be virus, spread of malicious also. Now, guidelines for composing email. You must follow the netiquette. Geotagging, embedded local data in the media files, that like GPS coordinates and others. Then geotagging may be on animals. They can ask you some of these are some of the questions they might ask in a scenario way. Ways to reduce email spam: you must filter them out. Preventing tagging on Facebook: you must adjust your settings. So some of the questions from previous question papers. Advantages of cars connected to the internet. That is the cars that are connected to the internet. They have navigation and real-time traffic updates, entertainment access, remote diagnosis, emergency assistance. If your car is connected to internet, you can do all this. Vehicle tracking and others. Kickstarter, which is crowdfunding. How does it benefit? How does crowdfunding benefit entrepreneurs? They present ideal or projects, and then they also assist people. They ask public for money to assist a project also, and then they are also they use these funds that they get to launch a new product also. Then the geotagging, like we said, preventing options for green computing. How do you prevent green computing? Printing both sides, double-sided, like we discussed also. A group of remotely controlled computers are called botnets. Then examples of malicious tasks that can be done: denial of service, spreading virus, and others. Now, disadvantages of e-learning. Like e-learning, you don't see the person face to face. It requires self-discipline, and then also you need a fast and reliable internet connection. Telecommuting, working from home, benefit and disadvantages also. All these are part of social implication: identity theft, negative consequence of 3D printers, and then AUP policies: not visiting illegal or inappropriate sites, no downloading or pirated software, and others. So you have to know all these IoT advantages and disadvantages. They are all part. AR, augmented reality, which is different from VR. So the AR, mostly for educational training, gaming, and then virtual tours and others. But then the VR, that one is virtual reality. So the definition of AR is technology that add digital elements into the real world. So they augment. Augment means adding. So they add digital elements like images and sound into the real world, like a smartphone, tablet, and then AR glasses. So when you use your smartphone camera to see virtual furniture in your home before you buy it, it is part of the AR. But then you must know the advantages: social engineering examples, benefits of Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency, that is the digital currencies. And then the benefits are that they are cheaper and they don't need banks, decentralized also, and inflation does not also affect it. you must know some of these cryptocurrencies. And VPN, like we talk about VPN, they can also ask you under the social implications, how to protect yourself on social media, and then from hackers also. BYOD, bring your own device, where employees are allowed to bring their own devices to connect to the network, or where learners are allowed to bring their own device to connect to the network. Then there are problems that are associated with the BYOD in schools or in different workplaces. They can ask that question, like network overload, security risk. Learners can bring viruses to the computers, inequality between students. Some might not also have it. And then device management challenges like compatibility issues. CTS, how do you prevent them? You need ergonomic keyboard and mouse and others. Then again, computer theft in schools, how to protect them, like we discussed it, alarm systems and tracking. EULA, a legal contract between the software owners and then the software users, detailing what you can do and what you cannot do with the software. Right. So risk or disadvantages of Bitcoin: lack of regulations, potential for fraud, and criminals mostly use it also to do their criminal activities. Two, internet activity that can lead to addiction. They are talking about internet activities like online gaming, you can be addicted. Social media browsing, online shopping, people can be addicted to it also. Signs of internet addiction and what you can do about them. Right. How can law enforcement investigate criminals? Digital forensic, IP tracing, IP address tracing, and then monitoring also. Definition of DDoS: attack using many computers to overwhelm servers and make it unavailable. So they make your devices unavailable by attacking your devices or your account. Bot and botnet, they like asking to differentiate between them. So infected computer controlled remotely, and then the group of the net bots are called botnets. Ransomware definitions: other like pretexting, creating a fake scenario or identity to obtain a private information, we call it pretexting. And baiting, offering something enticing to deceive people, we call it baiting. So I've added these two also to other forms of social engineering. How do you protect yourself online? Anti-malware, VPN, HTTPS, security protocols, digital signature, digital certificate, firewall, and others. You can pick at least 2 or 3 of them to protect oneself. Right. Now, we end with the last aspect, which is the